Alright guys, welcome to Tardis Talk, the Doctor Who podcast which delves deep into the time vortex to bring you not only our thoughts, but digs even further to bring you theories, Easter eggs, did I mention, spoilers. So this week, unfortunately, we don't have an episode of Doctor Who to cover. We're not going to have one for quite some time, because today we're going to be talking about the news that Steven Moffat is stepping down as the executive producer of Doctor Who at the end of Series 10 in 2017, and he'll then be replaced by former Doctor Who and Broadchurch writer Chris Chibnall. So there's a lot to take in there, but there's some more devastating news, as the BBC have also announced that there won't be a series of Doctor Who this year. Elle, what's your take on this? Devastating news. How are we going to make it till 2017 without Doctor Who?
It's like a really, really strange one, because I remember when I first saw the news on Twitter, I thought it was a joke. There was no confirmations or anything anywhere. And then I think when the news finally kicked in, it was it felt like I'd lost someone or something like that, because I think we're kind of used to getting the series of Doctor Who every year, or we'd have a special or something, whereas this year we've got a full year until the Christmas one. And it's what the hell do you do to fill that void of Doctor Who?
It is, and they've dropped this in January, so it's the longest possible time in terms of this year until that Christmas special comes round. And thank God we've got that, because without that we'd be waiting until at least this time next year, probably longer, to actually see the next episode of Doctor Who. It's crazy. What's your take on Steven Moffat stepping down and Chris Chibnall coming in?
I think I will say, I think I was ready for a new writer for all that. I really do love Steven Moffat. I think he's got a brilliant style of writing. And unlike Russell T Davies, he had these plots and things. We had the arcs with the River Song and the Silence. And throughout those series, there was subtle hints and things of what was going to happen. Whereas I think with Russell T Davies, you'd have really subtle hints. Whereas Steven Moffat had these web of ideas and things that he wanted to do, and they're still playing out even to this day. So I kind of am really upset, but I think at the same time, I know we spoke about a lot of it this year, whereas we wanted something a bit new and fresh. So I don't have a problem. And as for the new writer, I've watched Broadchurch and things. Fair enough, I wasn't overly keen on his Doctor Who episodes, but we'll get to that in a minute. I've watched Broadchurch, and it's some of the best writing on English drama that I've seen in recent years. So I think if he brings that kind of writing to Doctor Who, I think it could be brilliant.
Yeah, I think everything that he's done, not just in regards to Doctor Who episodes that he's done, but especially Broadchurch, I think that's something that's got so many awards and a lot of good press and reactions. It's something that if people haven't checked it out, it's a great way to kind of get a glimpse of what he could bring to Doctor Who and the way that he writes it, kind of his writing style. So it's something that I've only seen part of, so I'm going to have to kind of power through that and see what it's like. And I'll kind of prepare us for it. But, in regards to Steven Moffat leaving, I was shocked by the announcement, by the fact that it was dropped. It come out of nowhere. And it wasn't like when we got the announcement for Class and they said, we're going to make an announcement. It's going to be a huge announcement. Prepare yourself. This was just oh yeah, this happened today. And it was just dropped almost straight away. And I think that was what shocked us more. But in regards to Moffat leaving, I'd kind of expected this, because he'd done a lot of interviews recently where he talked about how hard it was to try and find someone to succeed him. So for that reason, I was kind of expecting him to walk away maybe at the end of next series, which is now the case. So it was a shock that was dropped on me, but, I kind of expected it, and I'm glad now to see we're getting Chris Chibnall come in. He's got all this past behind him. He's not only done Broadchurch and some of the Doctor Who episodes, but he actually was the head writer on Torchwood, and I really loved Torchwood because he was there the first 2 seasons, I think it was. And to me, that was some of the best Torchwood episodes I've seen. So just seeing that, going back and watching a little bit of Torchwood, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he brings to Doctor Who, because I think he's got the chance now to completely reboot it, rebrand it, do whatever he likes. It's going to be his to do.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at some of his other work, looking at things like Broadchurch and Torchwood, he has this dark style of writing, which at the time when he was writing for Doctor Who, I don't think we really approached that sort of dark subjects and things. Whereas now we've gone through some really serious arcs. I think there's a good chance that he could kind of bring some of that into Doctor Who and kind of explore that dark side of the Doctor again, which I think we all thought was going to happen anyway, but it kind of brings that element in, and I think I kind of like that, because I don't know, I think if this is going to be Steven Moffat's last series, well, it's confirmed it is, I think we're going to see some explosive writing. I think it's probably going to be
Yeah.
a case of he saved everything until last, and I still think we're going to kind of have those shockwaves even to like the next series.
I think we will. I think, to be honest with you, it's a bit strange. I would have preferred to see Moffat go this season because everything that was done this series in regards to Clara, that kind of tied up all of her loose ends. And then we also had River in the Christmas special, and that was kind of like her send-off. So it felt to me at that point like, you know, all of the stories that he was telling, there could really have been like a line drawn under them, and they were done then. So I don't know where he's going to go in this next season. We've still got Gallifrey back, so we could end up back on Gallifrey. There's Missy. There's a few other loose in the ends, so I'm hoping he kind of clears them up before he goes. I don't want anything kind of left. I want it all fresh to move on to the new writer.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he is going to start, I think that's what he needs to do. Like you said, there's people like Missy. We've got this thing with Davros and things like that need to be sorted out before he goes. Because I think if he leaves it, it's kind of going to ruin like this. I wouldn't say ego, but this characterization or whatever we've got of Moffat, that he's this brilliant writer and he's got these huge arcs. And I think if he was to leave anything left behind, I think we kind of got the end with River and things. I think anything he leaves behind, we probably won't get any resolution in it. And it kind of diminishes like that hard work he's done over the years.
Yeah, it really does. Like, I think going forward, I don't know if Peter Capaldi will still be there, but like you mentioned about Torchwood and it being quite dark, I think Capaldi's pretty good as a doctor to actually do that. But I don't know if we're going to get that kind of, you know, dark writing coming from Chris when he does take over it. But I hope he does. It's something that'd be good to kind of explore and just see a different side to the Doctor.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to basically go off whatever we get in Moffat's last series, because we're either going to get some really good fun writing or we're going to go through like really dark times. And I know there's a lot of talk of Peter Jackson and other people coming in, and what better way to have like in his final series and have something. I don't know, I said to you like previously, like there was talk of like a movie and things. Maybe we'll get those like blockbuster episodes again on his way out.
Hopefully. I'm hoping for something like blockbuster and movie like, because if you think he's got a year to plan this, and he's put up some amazing episodes in such a short time, now that he's got all this time to actually put something together, it better be good. Like, we've got to wait all this time, so hopefully the end product is something special. And I think if he's given that time, then it really should be. And in the meantime, yes, it does suck that we don't have any Doctor Who until Christmas, but we have got kind of the hope that is Class, and that's going to be coming to BBC Three. So hopefully that's something that we'll hear a bit more about over the next couple of months. Hopefully it does kind of air pretty soon, because BBC Three is moving to online next month. So hopefully it's pushed along, kind of helps with the launch of that online. And then we've also found that the audiobooks, the audio dramas from Big Finish, how amazing have they been?
It's funny because like I had seen like the audio dramas and things and trailers and whatnot, and I was always like a little bit hesitant to like audio dramas. I thought it was just someone like reading out of a book, but like when I sat down and listened, I was totally engrossed, and like I've like listened to one like near enough every night to go to sleep, and I'm totally hooked. Like I've listened to the River Song ones, and now I'm on to the War Doctor, and I'm like loving like every second, and like I'm literally hanging on like every word.
Well, it's so good. It's just, if you're sitting down and you listen to it and you kind of switch off from everything else, like I think nighttime is the best time to do it, because it's so quiet and you can just focus on it. And you get drawn into the worlds because they're so good. The actors in them, the old actors that we know, the same voices, the proper voices. It's so good. And your imagination just runs wild and creates that world for you. And I found them absolutely amazing. I listened to the River Song one like you did. I think that's probably my favourite so far. Then I've started listening to Torchwood, which has been really good. And what I'm really looking forward to, and I think you are as well, we've got David Tennant and Donna Noble. So we're going to get to see, I kind of mixed the names up there. We've got the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble, I guess I should say. So we've got that to look forward to. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think with people like Alex Kingston, David Tennant and Catherine Tate, they've got these huge personalities, and you don't need the TV to like portray like how good they are. Like Alex Kingston, like I can't fault anything. I thought she was spectacular, and I was, like you said, I was literally hanging on every word, and she put like so much effort into every line, and you could feel like River Song coming through, and it was brilliant. Like I said to you, the worst audio one was better than Sleep No More. Like, and it's strange, like, how you could have like an audio book or whatever be better than a TV show. It's strange.
It really is, but like you say, you get drawn into the worlds, and it's so good because of the actors themselves, and their performances are what really makes it. So I think if anyone's kind of looking at this long hiatus and thinking, how am I going to cope without Doctor Who? There is your answers. We've got Class to look forward to, and all these audio dramas from Big Finish. Definitely check them out, because there's some amazing stuff. And I think if you enjoy the show, then you're obviously going to enjoy these audiobooks. They're absolutely amazing. So that kind of covers what we can do in the meantime. But going back to Chris Chibnall taking over, what we're going to do is just kind of recap some of the episodes that he has done in the past in Doctor Who. So he's not new to this. He has done a couple of episodes. The first one that he actually wrote was back in 2007. So that was for the 10th Doctor, and that was episode 42. So it's seen the Doctor and Martha helping the crew of, I think it was a mining ship, and they were getting hunted down by a fellow crew member who'd been infected by the rays of a living sun, which had been stolen to actually power the vessel. So that was the first one that he wrote. He followed that up in 2010. That was a two-parter, so we had The Hungry Earth in Cold Blood, and that's seen a Welsh mining facility digging deeper and deeper into the earth, deeper than anyone had ever dug before, and that awoke the hibernating Silurians, who thought they were being invaded. So they woke up, they came back up to the surface, and they wanted to reclaim the planet from us apes. And then from there, we had 2012, we had dinosaurs on a spaceship, which... obviously, dinosaurs on a spaceship. What else can I say? It also introduced Brian Williams, the father of Rory, and I thought he was an awesome character, so that was great to get his introduction. And then his final TV episode, we had The Power of Three in 2012, and that's seen the world took over by a lot of little black boxes. So, Elle, what did you make of these episodes? Did you have any that kind of stood out to you that you fondly remember?
It's funny because I totally forgot like he'd wrote for Doctor Who before, but the only two that I can really remember and like really loved was Hungry Earth and is it Cold Blood?
Yeah, I think those are the ones that I kind of prefer out of that list. I would probably put them as the top ones for me.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the writing was really strong. It was like a great way to bring back the Silurians, and there was like really formidable force, and it wasn't like this spectacular invasion. It was kind of like really small, but it was really powerful, and I just loved how like he portrayed the Silurians, and then obviously you had the families and kind of bringing that peace treaty about. I thought it was really good writing, but as for the other ones, I wasn't so keen, especially The Power of Three. I only watched that once and I really didn't like that at all. 42 was alright. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, I'd probably say that was my third or second favourite, depending on if you pair the other two, but I think that's a strange thing because when you compare this writing to things like Torchwood and Broadchurch, it's like levels apart, and it's crazy to think that same writer wrote those.
It really is, to be honest with you. These, as good as these episodes are in their own right, I don't think they're standout episodes. So just looking at this list, it doesn't really get us as hyped for it as it does when I look at the fact that, you know, he's wrote Broadchurch and he's also been the head writer on Torchwood. So I think those two things, they kind of make us more excited as opposed to these episodes. But kind of listing them, I would go probably the same order as you. I think you went starting at the bottom, Power of Three, then Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, 42, and the two-part of The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. So that would probably be my list as well. I don't know what else to say, really, because in regards to the episodes, they weren't great, but everything else that he's done since then has been absolutely awesome. So it kind of sets one on the right track. Hopefully it's going to be good. Hopefully we'll see a bit more of the likes of Torchwood and Broadchurch. Do you think we'll get sort of shows that kind of mimic those as opposed to these episodes, or do you think it'll kind of be more like these ones?
I think that's the thing. I think when he originally wrote for Doctor Who, it was kind of very still family orientated, when now it's kind of got to that stage where I'd probably say it's teenager and upwards. So I think he's got a wide spectrum to play with and things. Fair enough, there'll be like the odd family fun one, but I think for the most part he's going to have this huge spectrum to play with, and I think he'll be able to explore like different topics and things, whereas I'd say back then it was kind of hard to go to those really dark places. I know it's not all about dark, but you can kind of portray a story better if you can go like in different places.
Yeah. Well, you said family orientated. And it kind of moves on to the next things that he wrote, because not only did he write them TV episodes, but he also done 2 shorts. So in 2012, he did the first short, which was Pond Life. And this was kind of interesting because it was taking place over on the BBC Red Button, so it wasn't actually aired on TV. And I think there was 5 episodes maybe in total. And this kind of showed what happened in the life of Amy and Rory when the Doctor wasn't there. So kind of what they got up to. And it involved things like getting messages from, I think there was a point where there was an ood on the toilet and they just barged in on us out of the blue. So yeah, it was interesting to just see kind of how they got on without the Doctor. And then he followed that up with another short, which I actually really liked. And it was interesting because this was kind of written to be a scene in one of the episodes, and this one was called PS, and it was very Back to the Future like, because it featured Brian, who we mentioned earlier, the father of Rory, and as far as we know in regards to the TV show, he was kind of left not knowing what happened to Rory and Amy. They just disappeared, so it kind of tied up the loose ends there. And because it was never filmed, because they had problems with the scheduling, what they done was they released this online, and it was done in the storyboards with the voiceover provided by Arthur Darvill, who plays Rory. So it kind of told the story of what happened to Amy and Rory, with their grandson actually arriving on the doorstep of Brian shortly after they'd disappeared and given him a letter. And then that explained what actually happened to them. And I thought this was really cool. I was really gutted that this wasn't actually shot and included in the episode, because I like things being cleared up, and this done that perfectly. But at the same time, I think the way it was done with the storyboard and the voiceover, it actually added to it. It was so beautifully done, and I really like this. I think this is one of his best work, which, when you kind of compare it to the TV episodes, might seem strange, but when you watch it online, I think it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that kind of goes to show that for all sometimes like things are on paper and they can be written down. Once sometimes you add all the other layers with TV and things, sometimes that writing kind of gets lost, and maybe that's what happened to like some of his other stories. But like when you do take PS for what it is and how like little layers it's got like with the audios and things, it is really beautiful and it's really strong. So it just goes to show that if you get to the nitty and gritty, like what a great writer he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this position where he's the guy in charge, he doesn't have to worry about, Steven Moffat or someone else actually overwriting what he's done and changing parts of the script. This is all going to be from his perspective and how he sees it playing out. So for that reason, I think it's going to only get better, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes. One thing I do want to ask you, though, is when he takes over, there's a lot of rumours, and I think the Mirror put up an article saying that Capaldi could be leaving to kind of give him that opportunity to cast someone that he wants to have in that Doctor role. And it might make it easier for him to actually write the show for them, because it was the same thing that kind of happened when Russell T Davies left, and he allowed Steven Moffat to come in and cast Matt Smith as the new Doctor. So when Peter Capaldi hangs up his sonic screwdriver, do you say we're getting a new Doctor cast at the same time?
I think he kind of has to leave. I know it's like a really harsh thing to say, but obviously we're going to have this big gap and things, and then when he comes back, it's going to kind of be different because there's no Clara and whatnot, and we're going to judge him all over again because he's on his own, or he'll have a new companion. And I think by the time that comes around, and obviously we've had like 2 Christmas specials since then, I'd say, I dare say that I think near enough everyone will be ready for a new Doctor. And I think if a new writer is going to come in, I think that's the best way to start, have everything start from fresh. I wouldn't say I'm bored of Capaldi, but we were saying like this series that I wouldn't have minded at all if he had left and if Clara would have stayed and things. So I definitely think I'm ready for a new Doctor, so I don't mind too much.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think it could have been a good point to have him walk away this season. And when we had like the memory wipe, it could have like, rather than wipe his memory, he could have kind of died at that point, maybe forgot Clara and woke up as a new Doctor, and it's all fresh, it's all new. So I think that would have been really cool. I do kind of see him stepping away. I don't think there's much chance he'll stay. I think when you compare it, he's probably been there longer by the end of this next season than the other Doctors in New Who. So it kind of says to me that his time is coming to an end anyway. And I think he probably had been speaking about, walking away when next season was up anyway, saying that it was a lot to kind of take on in terms of the schedule. So to me, I think it makes sense. I think it's good for the new writer coming in to cast someone new. And if they've got an idea of the person they want to write for, it makes it so much easier than trying to fit it into Capaldi's mould.
Yeah, definitely. And I just think it's kind of like a huge shame that because Moffat is leaving and he's going to have this final series and Capaldi's possibly leaving, we've now got this huge gap. Whereas we probably could have had like a new Doctor, a new series, a new writer and things. And I wouldn't say I'm annoyed as such, but it kind of feels like it's lost because I think it could have easily, like you say, when the Doctor had his memory wiped of Clara and things, he could have easily died there and that would have been that. And I think that episode alone probably would have been a brilliant time for him to like regenerate and things. Whereas now we're kind of going to have to wait a year, have that series, and then go through that stage of if he is going to leave. And I kind of think it's almost dragging it out a little.
It is kind of dragged out. I see where you're coming from there. I think I agree. I would have preferred to see him leave at the end of last season and for a new writer to come in. But at the same time, like we've mentioned, we've got the audiobooks to pass the time. And given Steven Moffat a year, surely he's going to come up with something amazing for what could be Capaldi's final run. And then it also gives a lot of time to Chris Chibnall to kind of get the idea of what he wants to do, start writing the stories. So hopefully, even though it is a long time, it leads to some amazing episodes and we get 2 amazing seasons.
Yeah, definitely. And talking like of audiobooks and things, I think this would be the great chance for like Capaldi to get those things in now while he still is the Doctor and there's going to be this huge gap. I think he's a brilliant actor and I definitely think he'd be like a brilliant portrayal in these audiobooks. He just from his accent alone, you kind of know he's the Doctor and he is like a really grumpy Doctor. I think it'd be brilliant to portray those kind of stories. So I kind of hope we get some of that because I don't want it to come across that I've really disliked him as a Doctor because I haven't. I kind of think he's been unlucky with some of the things he's been given. Like Clara overshadowed him for the most part because of how he came in and things. And then we've got this huge break. And I kind of think for all he has been great, he hasn't really been given a great hand.
Yeah, well, I kind of have the opinion that he hasn't really got the chance to start as the Doctor, as his Doctor, because everything's been focused around Clara. So I think what I'm looking forward to next season is it being all about him. And we talk about a new companion coming in. If it's for one season, I don't even know if they need it. I think they'll probably just have the Doctor for that season. Missy can come in, she can kind of fill in as a companion along the way. And I think that kind of works and it allows it to pass over to Chris Chibnall to pick the new companion and potentially a new Doctor rather than get stuck with someone that Moffat casts a year before.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't mind if they did that kind of approach that they did with the 10th Doctor when he had his specials and he kind of had like someone new like every episode. I think it definitely worked for him and then you could kind of get rid of that companion. Is he in love with her? Either falling out kind of thing. I think you'd get rid of that and have something new every episode and keep it fresh and clean right up to the point where he possibly does die or whatever and maybe we could get someone like River or Missy or just someone else come back to kind of help him bow out or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be like cool to do it that way. Instead of having one cast, it's always good to just have like a few different people come in. It keeps it fresh. And you know, you might see Chris Chibnall watching it and think that person is a really good companion. I want to like bring them back, and we could see them then cast as the main companion for the following season. So it's a good way to kind of trial some people, see what they like. And you know, I think people should let me know in the comments what they think, if they want to see a companion next year, or if just kind of mix it up a bit, go in and out, and get a few different options in there. We can see which one works out the best. So I guess that brings us to the end of this week's TARDIS Talk. But make sure to get involved. Let us know your thoughts on Steven Moffat leaving, Chris Chibnall taking over, and of course how you're going to cope waiting nearly a full year for a new episode of Doctor Who. It's going to be a tough one. So let us know your thoughts below, or drop us a tweet at TARDIS_talk. So we look forward to hearing your thoughts. But until next time.
See you later.